All right. Welcome, everybody. Just getting settled in, getting everything set up here. Still putting together some Go Live posts, putting one up on the old Instagram now, because it's time. It is Workshop Wednesdays here on twitch.tv/Barry Von Vicious. Our first time back in a little bit. And I'm psyched to do it. Happy to be here. We're trying out a new setup, different camera. I'm hoping it focuses better. I have no way to really tell because my computer kind of gives me a pretty low res image of what the stream looks like. We got some quiet background music going, and yeah, hoping to have a good hang here. And while I get this post up, you can all admire my incredible workshop. It is in complete disarray. There's tools out I don't need. It's going to be a chaotic stream, folks, so buckle up. Buckle up, I say. Let people know what we're doing. I hope you're all having a good Wednesday, and I hope you've all been having a good week. Boy, yesterday was stressful. Was at an outdoor Weird Al concert yesterday, Rip Bison, and right up to like the last minute. Really didn't know the weather was going to hold for us or not. Like, really genuinely couldn't tell. Like, there was a pretty good chance that it would get rained out. And the forecast was not looking promising. We drove all the way out there, figured, like, worst case scenario, it'll be a good story, I guess. And we get out there, sprinkle a little bit while we're waiting for the show to start, and then boom, no rain. The whole show, no rain. Couldn't have asked for better luck on that one. Felt very fortunate that was how it went down, because there's no guarantee on that one. I'll tell you, no guarantee whatsoever. All right, so we're here in the workshop. We got some projects we're working on. Some of this is stuff for other folks, some of it's stuff for me. Specifically, I have some of my figures that we're working on, as well as some accessories for other Hasbro style figures. And all right, that went good. Fantastic. So we are right now going to be working on painting some of my figures. I have the torsos. These are both the luau berries. You can see the sunglasses sculpted onto the heads there. We're going to paint those. And then I have a regular berry where we're going to be painting just the whites of his eyes tonight. I do the pupils after the clear coat goes on, but we're going to fly through those torsos pretty quickly. While we have the black paint out, we have this is a finished set of legs for a luau berry. But we have another luau berry. We got to paint his knee pads and boots. And we also have a Perry Classic where we need to paint the black portions of his trunks as well as the black knee pads and boots. We'll do all that in one run. And then we have the arms for my figures where it's a lot of finicky detail work, but all the wrist tape, all the elbow pad, all that has to be painted. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot. Like, to be real, it's gonna be a lot. Right now, I am really quick going to pop open my Twitch so that I can keep an eye on the stream, make sure everything is working as intended. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a good Wednesday, and I hope everyone's ready to settle in and check out some toy making here while we're at it, while we're getting the work done. Other projects we're working on. I also have, this is the guitar for a Hasbro Honky Tonk Man figure. And you can see it's not done yet. There's some unpainted parts, but a lot of it, once it dried, looking really, really nice. About as crisp as I'm going to get it to look, because very, very finicky little detail work there. So, all right. It's hot as hell down here. All right, I'm going to turn this on and hope that you guys just can't. That's going to give me a little bit of some air moving around down here in the basement. An air purifier running back there. Adam X67, welcome. I saw some of the diecasts you posted on the Discord. Yeah, some good finds there. I think I had some from that set when I was a kid. Reed Cooper, welcome in. Hello. I know I don't have my sound effects, guys. Every time I'm down here, it's always very concerning to me. All right. I did manage to do a little bit of cleanup down here earlier. So the space is a little bit nicer than it has been. So I also managed to hit the dollar store and got us a few things that were desperately needed, including my favorite little mixing cups that come in like a 36 pack. 36 pack for $1. Love that. That's the kind of price I like to pay. And right now I'm sort of debating, do we do the details on these shorts before we start on the black for the legs and everything? I kind of feel like maybe we do, because they should be dry by the time we do all the other work with the black paint. But yeah, I've been headlining what we're working on here. We're working on a bunch of my figures. We're working on some accessories for some other Hasbro figures. And I'm happy to say I have a birthday present that we're going to work on a little bit later tonight. Many of you will remember some time ago, after I came back from Japan, I picked up this little 4-wheel drive lunchbox monster truck. You know, always it was their best approximation of Rolling Thunder. We built that on stream after I came back from Japan with it. I hadn't seen one of these since I was a little kid. And then I learned that they didn't just make model kits that turned into toys. They didn't just make little cars and robots and things. They also made model kits for tools. And I had this on my wish list for a long time. My in-laws picked it up for me for my birthday a couple weeks ago. It is the Tamiya, however you want to pronounce it. I've heard it said every manner of way. Electric handy drill. It is a kit where you build a tiny little drill that is primarily meant for doing the fine work on small toys. I think kind of a perfect thing for me to have around. Runs on a couple of AA batteries, which if I don't have down here, I will run. Yeah, I think there's actually a couple in Thunder I just showed. So we're gonna assemble that a little bit later if all the painting goes well. But I've spent a good 10-15 minutes here up top, yammering and yakking. It's time to dig in and get some work done. So you need the drill to make the drill. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Whoa, Reed Cooper with the 40 stream streak. Let's go. Putting in work, watching the old stream. Thank you, my friend. Much appreciated. All right, I do need to pull out some different colors because I want to do the detail work on the shorts here before we do anything else. We have this hot pink that we use to make the flower petals. Somewhere around here, I will have the tool we made a special little stamp tool. And then I have a navy blue here. Right, they call it Admiral Blue. Maybe someone has the rights to name. And that is for the rest of the details on that figure. Let me make sure that I still have that little tool we made. We had a little tool we made that was made out of a popsicle stick for that detail work. It's gone. I'm going to be really sad. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Our little stamp, our little popsicle stick stamp. Perfect. Let's see. So are these extra orders? Are you making extras just to have them? So it is 1 and 1. There are 2 luau parries here. One is for my personal archive because I've done a terrible job at keeping one of my own figures as they've gone. So one is for my personal archive, and then one is a additional pre-order that came in like 2 days before the Blitzkrieg show. That fan is picking it up at the next Blitzkrieg. So yeah, just getting the one remaining pre-order done. And then the classic parry that we started, the OG style parry, that is just for me as well, because I also don't have one of those in the collection. like I said, I've done a terrible job at keeping my own toys. I should have done more to keep track of all that, but you know, I let it get away from me. I also have all my old monster trucks that I 3D that were of me for shows. I have none of those for the collection because I couldn't stop myself from selling them. But people wanted them, so I sold them, and then I sold out and never made any more, and now I don't have them. All right, so we are going to do detail work on those shorts first. I think we're going to start with the pink first. Just make sure we get that done nice and clean. And then we will go in with the navy blue, give it the stripe and the center of each flower. Then we will set that aside over where the air from my air purifier can hit it a little bit. And it should be mostly dry by the time we get back around to it, because all the other details we have to do on all these toys are in black. So all one color of paint, so I like to kind of stick with one so it doesn't have a chance to. I'm doing a thing where I just kind of tap this on its side and it spreads the paint real evenly at the bottom. That way when I'm using a tool like this, which is essentially a stamp, it's not getting uneven distribution of big things on it. Bear Doctor, welcome in. Happy to see you in here doing some toy making. I have no idea how to even do research. How much does a tank of resin cost? You know what? Let me. I can show you exactly. I can show you the size they come in too. So they come in a bunch of different sizes and styles. This that you're seeing here, this is the kind that I use currently. It's Elegoo ABS-like, so it functions like an ABS plastic once it's cured. It makes it a little tougher, a little less likely to snap. This is the sort of beige, I call it like Caucasian fleshy sort of color. It saves me the trouble of painting the flesh on my figures. This tank cost me around $45. It has 2 kilograms worth of resin in it, and that will go a fairly long way. You know, each of these figures, I could probably get 10 to 15 of these figures out of one of those tubs. You know, depending on how long I let it drip after it's done. Sometimes if you don't let it drip a lot, you have a lot of loose resin sort of stuck to it that comes with the model and it gets washed away as you clean it. A little bit of a waste, but often if you're in constraints, you have to leave it there. Have to just do it as is. All right, so for those who were here before, I have this little, it's a popsicle stick that I cut into a little wedge at the end. And that wedge is used to make these flower petals on the shorts of Luau Perry, where I just go boop, boop, boop. It's a little stamp just for spacing. Keeps everything kind of uniform. So it is actually cost effective. It's more of the time and all the other work. That's exactly what it is. It's definitely the time and other work. I think total materials per figure by the time I'm done, I think I did the math, and it's, you know, depending, like if it's one like this where it, you know, it gets all the extras, the lei and the Hawaiian shirt and all that stuff, it's a little bit more. But if it's the standard Perry figure, you know, I'm looking at somewhere in the way of $5 to $6 worth of material. But yeah, it is. You see how much time and effort goes into it. There's the sculpting to be done digitally. There's all the painting that I have to do. The clear coating, which is a whole other process that I don't even stream. So yeah, it can be a lot. All right, so I'm just dipping this and trying not to get too much on there, and I'm just gonna, oop. Ah, lovely. Okay, I'm gonna do both flowers at the same time so that I get their spacing okay. Oop, lovely. Don't want to go too heavy with this stuff, so trying to space it out nice and even. Nice. Yeah. This little popsicle stick tool turned out to be a really good idea. Those who were present for the stream when I did this, I did not know if it would work. All right, and there's our two little flowers. been considering maybe to get into a hobby like this. Now I'm sadly having an extra room, still cleaning. Yeah. Oh, it's a blast. Like I've said it repeatedly. And what's nice is I'm taking a little aside here because I use these craft paints. Little jar of water I keep over here is just enough to clean my tools off, including my little popsicle stick tool. Just let that air dry. Now to finish this and to get back to what Reed Cooper was saying, it's a great hobby to get into. It's something I would have been doing either way, whether I was making my own toys to sell or just making stuff for fun. I've made all kinds of fun stuff on my own. One of my favorites, and it's still not done because I haven't painted the weapons yet. The Toxic Crusader figures from the 90s are really expensive now. Kind of hard to find. Like, there's not a ton of them floating around unless you want the reproductions, which are not quite the same scale as the whole thing. But I was able to find the model of it and print and paint my own Toxic Crusader figure. And he's not perfect, but all the joints move, so he's posable even. And I'm pretty pleased with it. The Super 7 Repros are super expensive now. Yeah, they're very expensive, and I also they're not what I wanted. They're not exactly the OGs. All right, so the other details on the legs are done in this navy blue, which I'm going to shake up and put into another one of our dollar store cups here. The shaking up is good because it gets all the paint nice and mixed. I do try to. There's all this goop left on the lid. I do try to give it a little wipe down, because if you don't, the next time you go to use it, there will be dried paint chipped that comes out in your paint, and that can be real hard to work with. All right, so this is going to be far more than we end up needing. I'm going to do my little trick of spreading it around the bottom of the cup by just knocking it around, because the first thing I'm going to do is sort of use it as a stamp. So let's see. This is the brush use here. It's a little fairly fine tip, but not nearly the finest tip we have, and it has important the back end, this little dot. Right now we're going in with the back end of the brush. We're going to use that as our little stamp on our flowers. That's just to go just like this. Boom. So pleased with how that ended up working out, because again, when I was first putting the process together for this toy, I didn't know what the finished product was going to look like, but I'm very pleased with how that's gone. All right, so I'm very quickly going to clean off the back end of this brush a little bit, just so I don't get it all over my hands while I continue to work here. I am coming in here. I hate coming in to do this kind of like close-up work with unsightly hands, but I do have like pretty good scrape on the wrist from some chicken wire working on the homestead earlier. I've also got some charcoal under my nails from grilling dinner. I know it's a small thing that no one but me could possibly care about, but I think about it a lot. All right, so coming into this navy with the brush now. I'm using my other piece as reference here. This is the one that's done and already has the stripe. So I'm looking at that pretty carefully and just trying to reproduce what I did there. Again, one of the key bits that I learned is to have both hands touching the piece at once. Gives you way more control. This may take a second coat. Might be my brush choice in this case. It's a little messy, but I'm gonna go back in and just kind of dimple and see if I can't get rid of the brush strokes a little bit. Sometimes all it takes is just a little light touch-up. Just learned what I want to make not doable enough. Oh, are you thinking? What are you thinking? Are you thinking Sofubi? Because I can direct you to some places that can prove that you can do that. PVC. So yeah, printing. You can't print with PVC yet. That gets closer every day. Some of the newer filament printers can do stuff that's very durable, like PVC. Soft rubber. Yeah. So if you're thinking like Sofubi, which is like the soft vinyl figures, the Japanese art toys, I can direct you to some places of people who have figured out methods for doing that in a home that are safe and effective. Um, Depending on what method you use, fairly affordable. It is a process. It's a process for sure. But there are, big fans of it who are making it a real thing here in the West for hobbyists. When I'm ready, I'll ask. Oh hell yeah, awesome! Yeah, there's some great places you can. There's some fantastic YouTube videos on the process. All right, so there's our stripe. There's our flowers, and I'm going to set these legs out of the way. I'm actually going to hang them up over here so that they can dry relatively close to the air source that's blowing over here. Redirect it at them. This paint does dry pretty fast, so that will probably be ready for a little bit more work a little bit later on. All right, and now we are entering a lot of the very finicky, the very repetitive, but that's what this is. I've talked a great deal on stream about, I think, my greatest strength in toy making, the fact that I'm willing to take my time. I'm not in a huge rush. Now, if I was producing these on a larger scale, a piece like this would be a little hard to do, so I'd probably still have to do it by hand. But some of these other pieces, and some of what I'm about to do, I could make a mask. And if you make a mask to go on that is repeatable, you use an airbrush and just you're done. So it's like, a large amount of preparation so that the execution is very fast and very uniform. I've not really reached that level of production yet, so for now I can kind of continue to take my time with this stuff. I am going to slightly reorganize the space here so that as these get done, I can put them on a drying rack very quickly. Being ready to have your stuff on a drying rack quickly is important because the longer you handle it after the paint goes on it, the more opportunity for smudging and undoing all of your careful work. These pieces away. These are pieces that are complete and don't need to be mucked with. For some of our friends and fans, folks like Nickabeans, who kindly made me the Luau Perry shirts and lays. Once again, shout out Nickabeans. I am going to be at some point auctioning off and or selling some of these. These are all pieces from prototypes for these figures, heads and torsos and arms. I am going to be auctioning off some of these if anyone is a toy maker type and would like to slap some pieces together and do their own paint. I'm always open to that, but for now I have a bunch of these kind of kicking around. We have auctioned off some other prototypes in the past. Joey Nails won the translucent Delmy Exo prototype, and I believe it was Bloopy who won the translucent one-of-one Perry prototype. Very cool, very very cool. All right, so I think I'm going to start that for last. We're going to start here because this is some very highly detailed work, where we are going to be painting the sunglasses that are on Luau Perry. We just do these in black, then we do all the clear coat, and then afterwards I come back and just on the lenses, I hit it with the liquid chrome. Oh yeah, Blink would be cool. It's been a long time since I've done a colorway, and I'm proud. Oh yeah. Hey, I'm open to sell blanks as well if people just are like really into having one and say like, you know what, I'd pay for that. You know, I can do those at a significantly cheaper price than I do the painted figures because I don't have them. Yeah, so we're gonna grab our cup here, check the lid of my black acrylic, and yeah, there is some dried paint there. I like to get that out of the way before it has a chance to end up in the paint. I'm going to shake this up while I carefully look for the brush that I want to use here. I believe I'm going to go with this one. I talked about how some of them are much finer point. This is very, very fine point. Not the finest, because we also have right next to it, I mean, you can see these are really, really tiny. I mean, fingernail for scale, how tiny that is. So I think we're gonna work with one of these two that are sort of middle fine point and just see how it goes. Right. Took the McFoley pretty far and cut his ear off. Did I break or fracture my fingers at some point? If you're talking about how they all kind of line up kind of funky, that's just how it is. I'm double jointed, and it's made my fingers all look kind of funny. Where like I can bend just the top joints. Most people can't do that. I can also I can do this thing where they go backwards that a lot of people really can't do. If I do it to the other camera, it's kind of freaky looking. Yeah, so my fingers always look a little funky, but no, thankfully no breaks or fractures in the hands that I'm aware of. But a lifetime of doing little work like this, playing the guitar and pro wrestling. Yeah, it's probably they've probably seen better days. All right, and you know, tomorrow night is usually my Stardew Valley stream with Johnny Torres, but Johnny Torres has some work stuff going on tomorrow and will be unable to make the stream. So I'm going to be streaming something on my own at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Not really sure what just yet. Not really sure quite what we're going to do on stream yet. Likely playing a game. I might be doing some 3D design. Wow, unreadable bot name. Thanks for letting me know where AI viewers are. Not sure why anyone would ever want that. Horrific. Hope you have the worst night, bot. Take care. Get out. Or stay. I don't mind having the extra view on the channel, but something with monster trucks, maybe a certain monster truck. Maybe I was so I have to do a new Rip Bison figure. So it's hired me on to do a Rip Bison figure in the style of the old LJNs, or as you would say in the modern term, the big rubber guys. So I need to start on that pretty soon. He wants to take those with him to Japan. He has 2 Japan trips coming up. One was sprung on him last minute. So he's hoping to bring those with him, but you know, it depends on how fast I can get them done. I know he intends to paint them himself. I think that's going to be a bit of a pain, but you know, he's painted his own figures every time that I've done figures for him. All right, let's see how this goes. Good, right on the screen. This is where you'll hear me getting a lot quieter because we're really focused to paint these sunglass parts. They always end up looking sloppy, but it's just I have to paint the entire raised portion of the sculpt. Otherwise, it does look kind of awkward. I'm not even sure if this is the brush I want. There might be a different brush that I would prefer. I'm going to jump to a different one real quick and see. I want something that's kind of stiff with sort of shorter bristles, because I don't want it to move without my permission. Let's see what this does. I want fine point on this. It's This might be a little too broad. But these sunglasses, I made them with the idea that, one, it fit the design really well, but two, it would be less stressful to paint than regular eyes. That has not turned out to be the case. Turns out that these are actually very stressful to paint. It's a lot of very sharp edges. Let me see. Maybe I'll go with the littlest, ittiest, bittiest. See how it does. Yeah, Adam NX67, I still don't have a single video game with the Casper monster truck. I don't believe that it exists on BeamNG yet. I don't think any of the incredibly talented modders, aka nerds, have made Casper yet. I'm sure they will. And heck, I would do it myself. I have the 3D sculpting ability. I just, you know, little busy making little parries and little rips and little delmies and what have you. Little Joey Nails. Speaking of, where the heck is Joey Nails? Actually, a new monster truck game coming soon that appears to have a really good customization as well as decent racing. Really? I need to know more. I've not heard about this. Tell me more. This sounds exciting. I'm very interested to know about this game. You know I play the monster truck games on stream. Might mean that I have to start making some time in the schedule to get a fresh one in there. That would be really cool. Games be good. Have to do a little tightening up of it here. Out on Facebook called Bounty Monster Truck. Is it one of those ones that's just like a fake game that they made for an ad and then the actual game is going to be garbage? Because that happens a lot. I may end up doing a little cleanup on this one. I'm sure I like how it came out. It's pretty close. Set that one out of the way. That if that one does end up a mess, it always ends up being the one I keep for my collection. But let's give it a try with another one. This will be the one that I end up giving to the person who takes the preview. Customer always comes first. I mean, hope everyone's enjoying the quiet tunes in the background. Decided I would just try out a DMCA free chiptune playlist for a workshop Wednesday here. I don't usually do it. But yeah, it's possible tomorrow we end up playing a game. We may need to bust out a retro game, or there's a bunch of the wrestling games that were on the list for my birthday stream that we didn't get to. Might have to do that. Let's actually move on. Hey there. This here. And again, The reason that I'm okay at this, because I'm not a skilled painter or a skilled artist. I am just willing to go very slowly and take my time. Just little bit by little bit. And it takes something that we would think of as painting and turns it much more into like the equivalent of sort of coloring anything. All right. That one's looking pretty good. I feel pretty good about both of those now that I see them next to each other. All right. Okay. I'm going to clean up these little bitty brushes because the next bit of work we're doing requires slightly less finicky brushes. All right. Get a fresh paper towel to clean these off. That's the other thing. Whenever you go to start a hobby sesh like this, you gotta have all your stuff laid out and ready to go. You know? Doesn't do you any good to get started and then have to run around the house looking for where are the paper towels, or oh, I didn't get any water, all my brushes are drying up with their paint. All right, this is one of my trusty brushes for this work. I believe this is the other one that I often end up using here, so I'm going to set these off to the side to dry. And if we need them, we can come to them. I try to keep the ones that I'm most likely to use out at all times, all the usual suspects, as it were. All right. So let's start with these arms. Do you want to start with the arms or do you start with the torso? I think we're going to start with the torso here because I'm going to use the black to, there's a little bit of a smudge in my red painting here. I don't know if it'll show up on the stream. But I can fix that with some careful lines here. I may end up needing one of these brushes. I'm just going to bring it back onto the field of play and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to start on these trunks first, work on those, and then we will do the knee pads and boots. And once those are all complete, I can set this off to dry. An important thing to keep in mind when you're working with a piece like this is once the places that are painted have paint on them, where can you still grab it by? I have this joint. I can touch there, but that joint is going to be what I hang it up by on the rack. So I'm going to have to be able to grab somewhere else. But these thighs kind of work for that. So I can grab them there because that won't be painted unless something goes really wrong. All right. I'm going to come in here and start just kind of lightly laying down. Just doing my edging real slow here. Getting the edges of the sculpted parts of the trunks there. And once I get up close to where I have to interact with these other details, I'm going to stop and we're going to come back and do that with a finer brush. Yeah, it's been a heck of a few days. 2 Weird Al and Puddle's Pity Party concerts in the course of 4 days. We had a couple of streams in that time. Had a show up in Vermont, wrestled teaming with Rip Bison for the first time this year. Not the last. We'll be teaming this Saturday in Barry, Vermont. I don't know how it's pronounced, B-A-R-R-E. If anyone knows how that's pronounced, let me know. Really don't want to walk to the ring calling their town by the wrong name. Places tend to not like that. Maybe I should go. See. Had better days than me. Won't go into details, just having a rough time right now. I get it, man. I get it. I totally get it. But, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad that, for however the days go in between, that, you can tune in here, watch some toys being made, and if nothing else, I can maybe provide a little bit of a distraction. Loose brush hair. Take a clipper. Those loose brush hairs can mess everything up for you. You do everything right, and there's one random hair on the brush that just goes in the direction you didn't want, and that's that. That's where that paint is now. So you gotta watch out for those. Again, I'm getting up as close as I can. Some of this I'm going to finish off with a more detailed brush, smaller brush where I trust the work a little more. I don't want to get greedy and get too close and mess it up, because I will. All right, so for now, set this aside because we're not done with it. I'm going to take my finer brush here, and I'm going to come back. I'm going to work on the back first so I can sort of get the feel of the brush. It's got a random flyaway hair as well. The trouble of living in a house with cats. All right, that corner's looking good. That corner's looking good. All right, back is finito. It's funny that digital painting recreates errors like that, and the program expects you to understand real-world paint. Wow, that is weird. I would not expect it to do that. I would think one of the real purposes of digital painting would be to no longer have to deal with those kinds of issues. But, you know, what do I know? What do I know of what goes through the minds of software creators? They're an odd bunch. But we all are. Okay. We're getting there on these trunks. Feeling pretty good so far. You know, it's a process. Each brush stroke is part of the process. So I'm taking my time as much as I can, finding whatever angle is going to work for me to attack a given line. There we go. Just got to go in and fill in the blanks up there, and then we got to get the down in the crotchal region of this particular piece. Just get that filled in. Because the lines down there, it's a thin, tough spot to get, so I got to be very careful. Space King Bobby, welcome. Welcome to Workshop Wednesdays. Happy to have you, my friend. We're in here working on some Perry figures. This particular one is for my archives because I've done a very poor job at keeping samples of my work around. There we go. Fill in where the blanks are left. There we go. Looking good. And then once we clear coat this, we will come back with a white paint marker and do the outline work. And the outlines cover a multitude of sins. So, Encrypted, welcome in, my friend. Welcome, my friend. All right. So for right now, this little fine brush I can clean off because I'm not going to need it for this other work that we're doing here. I can switch back to a slightly more broad brush. This brush has been a tried and true friend throughout this process. Nickabeans, welcome in. Hit hello to the trunks on that guy. That's right. All right. So here I'm going to use one of my favorite tools, something that I think anyone who does this kind of work should definitely get. Maybe have like a bunch of them. I've only got the one, but I'm probably going to get more. This is a surgical clamp. It looks like scissors, but on the end, these are little grippy non-blades that just grab a thing. And down here, there's little teeth that interlock when you push it together, and it keeps a firm grip on whatever you're grabbing. How did Rip like Weird Al? Rip had a great time. He was rightly blown away by the mix and the quality of the live band that plays with Weird Al. Many of whom are OGs. Not everyone realizes it, but most of the people with Weird Al's band are the same people he's had the whole time. Everyone assumes it's studio music. But Steve J, his bassist, Jim Chemo West, his guitarist, John Bermuda Schwartz, all three OGs. And then added in the early 90s was Ruben Valtierra, who is their keyboard player. He's not on the tour right now. He has an illness that he's fighting. He's taken the tour off, his first tour off since the early 90s when he started with Al. But they had a fill-in keyboard, and they have an expanded band on this tour. It's the Bigger and Weirder tour. And he has multi-instrumentalists and vocalists touring with him, so the band kind of fills the stage. It's a very full sound. And, of course, Puddles' Pity Party was also incredible. Rip loved Puddles, gotta tell you. Space King Bobby says, cool, working on logo stuff with Fire Pro. Hell yeah. Doing a bit based on 1990s WWF Stomp action figures and Oh, that's so sick. Man, I loved the Stomp line. Yeah, really cool figures and a really cool thing to base some stuff on for Fire Pro. All right, so I'm going to very carefully get these knee pads first. This is going to get me back into the swing of working with this brush. Anytime I switch between brushes, I like to start on something relatively straightforward and easy, because like switching between vehicles or switching between instruments, your brain needs a minute to get back into the swing of things. The clipper clamps with the legs has some real Sid's Toy vibes to it. Yeah, the scissor attack for sure. Yeah. Sid's Toys from Toy Story. Absolutely. Good to see you, Johnny Torres. Welcome, my friend. It's funny to think that it's actually younger than Al. Yeah, it is crazy that Puddles is younger than Al. Puddles, without his makeup, he does look significantly older. Al looks significantly younger than he is. I had to keep reminding Rip as Al ran around the stage doing costume changes, hitting high notes, and doing high kicks, that Al is in his mid-60s. Most people don't realize that. I had a very cool moment the other day. I picked up, not everyone knows, Al's daughter finished college a couple years ago and is now a gallery artist. Does a lot of different design work and a lot of she does a lot of painting and even a lot of sculpture work. She created some of the props that Puddles uses on his tour. And she has a set of stickers of some creatures she designed that they sell at the merch table. And I saw them, and they were out of the trading cards I wanted. Bummer. But I was like, oh, I want these stickers that Al's daughter Nina made. That's so cool. And I shared them on my Instagram story, tagging her in it, as you should always do when you share someone's art. You should always tag the artist page. And she sent me a DM. We had a lovely little conversation, which was very cool. Very cool. A lot of Al's crew is like that, where they respond to a lot of messages. I tagged Jim Chemo West in a post when I got one of his vinyls for Christmas. I was listening to it, and he sent me a message thanking me for the share and telling me how much he hoped I enjoyed the record. Really nice guy. I'm sure Al would probably do the same thing, but with the size of the fan base he has, it's really not. Okay, glad to see the crew rolling in. I was mentioning earlier that tomorrow is usually the Stardew stream with Johnny Torres, but he has unless something's changed, and he'll tell us right now in the chat. He's got some work stuff going on. He'll be unavailable tomorrow. So I will be solo streaming starting at 8 p.m. Who knows? I might even kick off earlier than that, depending on how the day is going. And I'll be playing something or possibly doing some 3D design. I do have a new toy order that I need to work on that our good friend Rip Bison has placed with me in a style I've not worked before. He wants a figure done like the old LJNs, or like modern day, we would call them the big rubber guys made by Zack Ryder's company there, the major wrestling figures. He has a really great Bruiser Brody figure, and he wants rips that look like it. So I went over, I took some measurements, and I got to start on that soon. The sooner the better, because he needs them sooner. Lightweight possible. Hello, nurse. Yeah. It'll likely be hard resin, but in the style of the rubber guys. I mean, I could use the resin to make a mold, and then I could use a hard curing silicone, sort of replicate the rubber feel, and I could just mold them. The trouble is, Rip wants to paint them, and painting silicone is exceedingly difficult. It is not impossible. It's done all the time, but Rip does not have what is required for that. So, to simplify matters, it will be a big rubber guy that is actually a big, not rubbery at all guy. Closing the store. Silks on Thursdays. Return of the OO's wrestling wheel. It could be. Honestly, I was thinking bring back the OO's wrestling wheel. I still have it loaded up on the computer upstairs, so it still has what games we played. I don't know if I ever saw a final list of what games we played. And since the stream was very long, going back and figuring it out from the video I downloaded of it could be really complicated. That said, I should tell everyone I was able to download the VOD, and I will very likely be uploading segments, each game's segment, to YouTube. I'm still trying to figure out if I can upload karaoke to YouTube, because I think a YouTube video of me and Delmy doing karaoke together could be pretty cool. But I know YouTube gets a little weird about karaoke stuff. I don't want a copyright strike. It's a channel I've had for 18 years, and I really don't want to blow it now. Alright, and I think that is all of the edges done. All of the finicky bits on here. I'm just trying to get some light on this. Alright, yeah, we're looking good. So now I just got to finish these boots, and we will move on to the next pieces, which I think are going to be the arms. We got to do the wrist tape and elbows for 6 arms here. Okay, here's the list. We did Def Jam Fight for NY, Backyard Wrestling, Don't Try This at Home. We did WrestleMania X8, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth. Rush Hour, we did Day of Reckoning. Ultimate Muscle, man, Ultimate Muscle was so fun. I would totally do a series where all we did was try to win every single Gachapon guy in Ultimate Muscle. Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, Def Jam Vendetta 10, and Legends of Wrestling 2. Man, that was such a good stream. That was so much fun. There was nostalgia, there was surprises, there was way too many Twinkie Wiener sandwiches. Thank you all for popping those Twinkie Wiener sandwich alerts, by the way. I say just put those 10 on a wheel, and you make progress on whatever it lands on. I mean, it's either that or I spin the wheel and the whole stream is whichever random one it lands on. Pick from what's left, the ones that we've not yet played. Um, Speaking of, I hope everyone has checked out the polls over in the stream thread on the Discord, and everyone has voted which days are best for them for when I do get to the next all-day stream. And we're also going to have a poll dropping really soon, a really interesting poll of what the new Tuesday game is going to be. I think I'm going to drop that poll probably tomorrow and let the voting begin, with the voting hopefully wrapping up over the weekend so that I have a chance to download and get the settings all set on whatever the new game is, get it all set up and ready to roll. But all three options are new games. They're all new games that have not been played on the channel before, starting next Tuesday. Looking forward to that. But yeah, I will be solo streaming something tomorrow. We'll find out what. I don't even know what yet. And then next Thursday, I will be at Monster Jam, Delmy XO. Not be streaming next Thursday. But perhaps Johnny Torres will stream. It'll be a big party over on Johnny Torres' channel. So glad everyone can hang out here on a workshop Wednesday. You know, it's nice to have a bit of a chill stream here because we've had some very exciting, fast-paced streams lately. The new areas and the boss fights over on Silksong have been pretty fast and exciting. The all-day stream was utter chaos in the best ways possible. Then we've had a bunch of streams we've had to miss because it's been a busy time of year. All right, I'm going to carefully release this from the clamp and hang this up so that it can dry. Yeah. Yeah, I say we just watch the interviews on Legends of Wrestling 2 and react to them. We may do that at some point. Tomorrow's kind of a longer stream. I think maybe that might be a Saturday morning stream for when I have those shorter Saturday morning streams. I was going to do one. Excuse me. I was going to do one this week. A nice short Saturday morning stream, except the show I'm on in Vermont on Saturday is at like 3 p.m. It's 2 hours away. So I'm going to have to leave here at like 10 in the morning in order to make call time. 10 or 11 in the morning. Mix up a bit more of this because we definitely need a little bit more to go on here. The pool that I have to glob from is getting a little dry down there. All right. At some point, I really need to go through my brushes and really try to figure out. Like, I know there's some other ones that I liked that I don't use as much. Figure out where they went, which ones they were. At some point, I had a big mix-up go down on all my brushes. Like, I'm pretty sure this is one of the ones that I always really liked, but I don't know. It's working okay for me. Just okay. Harry, you ever watch That's What I Call Wrestling on YouTube? I have not. Tell me about it. What is That's What I Call Wrestling? I've watched, like everyone else, I've seen Botchamania for years and years. I mean, from back when it had a different name when I was in college, pre-YouTube. And then I've also watched the Holy Shit Wrestling Collection. Right. So with these, it's just getting the edges done first, and then we fill in. All about just slow, controlled motion here. Then we're going to hang this. Where's my rack for these? I'm going to bring the rack over onto the table so it's a little easier. Got my little DIY rack made out of a 2x4 popsicle sticks and dollar store flippy clamps. There we go. watches really bad wrestling and rips on. Oh, okay. So it's a little bit like what $5 wrestling was when it first started. Sort of a MST3K for pro wrestling. Yeah, a lot of wrestlers have a lot of fun watching like bad wrestling. I've always found that watching like truly bad wrestling, watching wrestling that I'm just like, this is bad, kind of bums me out. You know? Like, I don't know, it makes me want to be in wrestling, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of my friends, a lot of my really close friends, watching bad wrestling is like one of their favorite things to do. I can do it in tiny little bits here and there when I, post show at someone's house, or if we're at a hotel room after a show and someone puts something on. I can watch like a bad match, but like when people put on like an entire bad show or a series of bad matches, that just bums me out. Yeah, Johnny Torres gets it. Like, there's a special kind of bad that I don't mind as much. Also, if it's bad, but if like I know the performer and it's a bad match, and I know that because there are wrestlers who are very self-aware about the quality of their wrestling. If it's that situation, I don't mind it as much. To me, like watching bad wrestling, especially if the wrestler is still active, watching bad wrestling just feels like bullying. In its way, you know what I mean? And like that really kind of bums me out. It's not what I usually do. There we go. Memphis Bad. Yeah. Memphis Bad kind of bums me out too, because it's like, this is the stuff. This is why everyone picked on me when I said I wanted to be a wrestler. They saw this stuff and thought this is what it was. You know what I mean? Like, pro wrestling has come so far in terms of the quality of just the performances. And it kind of bums me out a little bit to, like, dig too much into the past. And also, in a lot of those old clips, you're watching guys that are problematic. That bums me out. These guys, some of them have been charity. Out of high school. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, anyone who's wrestled, unless they have led a very charmed life in the industry, they've all been on shows. Like, I've certainly been on tons of shows like that. And if you watch some of my early stuff, I'm kind of like that in my early stuff. I started off very doughy, as anyone who's watched when I watch my old matches can attest, or Johnny Torres, who lived it and was there for it, he can attest. You know, but to me, the biggest bummer is the guys who are terrible at wrestling and have no idea that they're bad. Like the ones who really think that they're like legends in their area and they're bad. That bums me out. I mean, not to call out a region, but it's one of the reasons I get kind of sad when I go up and do certain shows. And there are some wrestlers in Maine who are legends in Maine. Man, do they think that means something? It definitely doesn't. I like Maine a great deal, but there are certain characters up there that never impress me. What I find to be an even bigger bummer is when people who are good egg them on and feed them. I find that to be irresponsible and mean from a place that is unnecessary. Like, that's punching down, you know what I mean? Ones that think they are passable. What kind of grading curve are they using? Yeah, exactly. Thank you. There was one organization called WWE World Wrestling Empire. Like, it was just, yikes. Yeah, I mean, there's current promotions all over the country that are like that. I mean, there's some that, like, a few of them I've wrestled for, just because, sometimes you're filling up a date while you're in town for something. Man, it's always such a disappointment. Like, it's such a it's, all these space. All right, here we go. There we go. That's how that needs to be put down there. Perfect. Thank you. All right. And moving on. So we're almost halfway through the arm. Once we get done with the painting that needs to be done here tonight, I do have that Tamiya, I don't know how it's pronounced, model kit that builds a small Toymaker's drill. To be building that, and just really looking forward to that. I liked their build for the little monster truck that we did some time ago, but the fact that when I'm done with this, I will have a tiny little mini drill. That's pretty cool. I have a full size, DeWalt wire, cordless drill. But having a little one for fine detail work, that's pretty cool. That's what I call wrestling being toasted by Magnum CK. One real wrestler who did make it in the business fairly well. Yeah, I mean, I also I know some of like Maven does some stuff like that on his channel where he does reacting to certain stuff. Stevie Richards has done a bit of it, and I don't know, I'm sure it's as a fan, I bet it's really fun to watch. But I feel like when you're actively part of the industry, seeing the worst of it kind of put on display is often a bummer. And I say that as someone who, ironically enough, is also a great big fan of Dark Side of the Ring. Boy, because with that, we're sort of getting a historical perspective. It's not just about the industry, something being bad. It's just, hey, here's part of this industry's history, for better or for often far worse. But yes, I do acknowledge the irony there. Yeah, seriously. So many nobodies that we've been on shows with, and I'm nobody, so I don't mind saying that. Dude, the Necro Samoa Joe episode was really fun. I enjoyed that a great deal, but that's as someone who, when that match happened, I saw the clips. I saw them coming out in real time when they were posted on, early YouTube. And man, a formative memory for sure. All right, let's put a little too much on there. Where was the dark side? The dark side was including Necro at all. But also, I think the dark side was them, saying that Necro had cancer. But I mean, that's the case with several other episodes. I don't think there was a real dark side to Tenta's episode. He died young, but he died young of natural things that just happen. It's not like he OD, he didn't die from something he did. Just got sick and died. It's that sucks, but it's not really a dark side of wrestling. It's just a dark side of life. You know what I mean? Yeah, I assumed, because I saw they've been uploading those episodes to YouTube, which I love. And I saw that one of the chapters was titled Necro Butcher Today. And I assumed it was going to be about that. I assumed it was going to be about him slipping down that dopey, MAGA bullshit wormhole, and instead avoided it entirely, which I assume is because they were like, yeah, let's not ruin the episode. Yeah, they ignored that too, which, I mean, that's slowing over the plate for MAGA. But I have noticed they've been, whoever they have working their web team has been carefully watching and cleaning out the comments under the YouTube, because there were a bunch of comments calling out Necro for being a MAGA piece of crap, and all that stuff got deleted real quick. Which, like, yeah, no kidding. I'd be trying to delete that too if I was them. Like, there's a reason they didn't include it in the episode, because they sure could have. But yeah, the match itself was a formative part of me rediscovering wrestling and discovering indie wrestling, specifically when I was in college. So having a whole episode where they talk about it, where mostly I think most of the episode was completely in kayfabe. Like, really. Let's see, also doesn't fit everything we know about him. Actual Shock, IWT. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah, I believe it's only so much of a shock, because, what can I say? There is a certain subsect of white dudes for whom they think the world should belong to them, and when they realize it doesn't, that they're not getting everything they ever dreamt of, they decide that the cards are unfairly stacked against them. Like, nah, man, you just suck. Sorry. It's funny, the match itself, like, you don't really have to watch the whole match, The match itself as a full piece is fine. You watch the highlights, that's plenty. I am digging this little DMCA-free chiptune source I found. Hope you've all been enjoying the music. I hope it hasn't been too distracting. If it's too loud or anything, let me know. I tried to keep it pretty quiet on the mix. Nice. Read with the link. Watch the whole match if you haven't seen it. Oh, I certainly have. When I was in Japan, Rip and I subjected Jet Li to it. Insisted he watch the full match. Jet Li famously, his reaction after about 5 minutes of watching in utter horror, said, and I quote, a wrestler of 10 years said, and I quote, "Why are these guys so rough? Can we just watch Dora?" Yet we did not have a great command of the English language. Bad enough to tell us that Necro Joe was not his style. I still find it wild that I'm friends with Bryce. You are, we're too. Yeah. We're all friendly with Bryce. If we're not like close friends, we're at least friends. He's one of the nice guys, you know. I hadn't seen him in a number. Saw him at Power Pro Lucha last summer. I guess it was last September. So technically, it's just into the line in the fall. But I saw him there, and he absolutely remembered who I was. Hadn't seen him since before the pandemic. Greeted with a warm smile and a hi, Perry. How are you? Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Really nice, really a sweet guy. Nothing bad to say about Bryce. I will tell you that when I was being trained, my my trainers hated Bryce Remsburg. Thought he was a shit ref, distracted from the match because he sells some of the stuff bigger than the wrestlers do. You know what? Sorry, man. If your wrestlers can't sell it that good, that's a problem with the wrestlers, not the ref. If the ref can draw attention from you as a wrestler, that's a you problem. I mean, the ref shouldn't be doing that, but if they're even able to, that's a you problem. You got to ask yourself, how am I less exciting than? Not to point fingers, but that is something I think every time our pal Gina gets a Gina championship match. And these guys are less exciting than Gina just standing there. All right. Yeah, the ref's job is not to be invisible. You're absolutely right, but also not to be the center of attention. And if you, as the primary performer, can't keep the attention of the fans and they start focusing on the ref, closing in on completing our painting projects for the night. At which point we will switch over to building that drill model, Tamiya. I'm going to keep doing that because I really don't know. If someone wants to look it up and tell me, that'd be great. Right, I agree. Yeah. You know, I mean, if there's a spot where you purposely make the ref the center of attention, that's a completely different thing. There's comedy spots where the ref dances, or there's lucha spots where the ref takes a shoulder roll and takes a pin, something like. Yeah, that's different. But like, you're just having a regular old match and the crowd starts chanting for the ref. Wow, doesn't speak super highly of you as as being a particularly captivating performer. All right, that's the last of the arms. Feel good about that. Where's my sound button? He's jealous of that. All right. With that, I can move this little drying rack full of arms out of the way. It says, I actually like when the ref beats the wrestlers up. Should be able to. Why are they reffing if they can't defend themselves? MMA refs out of both people. Well, I mean, that's the thing. The MMA refs cannot kick the shit out of the people they're reffing. They can restrain them, but no, they're not trained fighters that way. Give them all tasers. Yeah, there you go. Give them tasers. No, I'm not kidding. I would love to see one of those. If those referees could win those fights, they'd be in those fights because there's infinitely more money to make doing that than reffing. That's right. I mean, I'm also, you know, I've had some interesting conversations with friends who are refs, because I am far too much of an attention seeker, and I, for the life of me, don't understand someone in wrestling who says like, "Oh, my goal is to be a manager. My goal is to be a referee." It's never made any sense to me. And it's just because I'm too much of an attention seeker. There we go. That's just wanted to clean this one up. There were a few little things that were kind of pulling my attention as I kept looking over at it. That looks good. All right. Set that off to the side. Clean this brush up. Man, this chiptune music is killing. Killing it. All right, let's see how those trunks we painted up earlier are drying. If we're able to work with them yet, if we're able to handle them. Ah, yes. Looking so fresh and so fly. Come on. Let's go. We're going to paint these boots and knee pads. And then that will be that for the black paint that we have had out on the field for a bit here. We'll paint the whites of that one eye, and then we'll be on to the next. Yeah, yeah. But you know, there's infinite other wrestling in the world, so we can keep fond memories of other places where problematic tendencies have either stayed quiet and we don't know about them, or they don't exist. And that's, I would say that's the tough thing with wrestling, but really that's just the tough thing with entertainment. You know? Like, entertainment as a whole is a little bit of a cesspool. So it's nice to, you know, my particular experience in entertainment has been that I try to keep a bit of a distance while being involved. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? So you know, it's hard to get in too much trouble if everyone goes, "Oh, I don't know, he wasn't there." So there's very few places where I willingly like do hangouts or after parties and that kind of stuff. Like for me, you know, I'm there to see the handful of friends in wrestling, and I am there to interact with the fans and perform. I don't think there's anything wrong with that as the general way of being. I mean, I think it's good to not get mixed up in the bad stuff, if that makes sense. All right, there we go. There we go. That's gonna hold better. I can feel the clamp letting. I think it also helps in terms of like the staying out of trouble that like I was fortunate enough to be raised with empathy, and in that rather than being the type who's gonna run around scoring drugs and you know trying to hook up with my fellow wrestlers or whatever, that I'm the type who comes home and does this. Hard to get in too much trouble. Ain't toys in your basement. You know, my wife doesn't have to sit around wondering where is he, what's he doing. He's upstairs in the living room. She knows exactly where I am and exactly what I'm doing. If she needs to know, she can just tune in and check. The thing is, something that we don't talk about enough when we talk about these wrestlers who get in trouble and people who cover for them and the people who have covered for them and the people who still stand up for them and people who want them to come back after they've been removed for their behaviors. One of the things we don't talk about enough is it is so easy. It is so easy to not get in trouble. Everyone has heard about the word. Yeah, I think generally speaking, unless you're looking at like sort of a very broad spectrum of folks on Twitter, you're looking at the real, like the world of wrestling. Most people can tell the difference between the storylines and the real life. And if you're talking about the big stars, like the people who want to villainize CM Punk because he said one thing and then did another, but the thing he said was in a promo, really can't worry about what that kind of person will say. No, those are people who are unwell and often just seeking attention. But the real stuff, the stuff where there are victims, the stuff where someone's behavior is, hurting others, that's a different thing altogether. I don't really have a lot of time to hear about the drama in wrestling, but I've got tons of time to hear about if someone has done something really wrong and should be avoided or removed from the scene. That I've got time for. The drama stuff, I don't give a shit. I'm busy making toys. Gotta make these toys. They're not gonna make themselves, you guys. Toys ain't gonna make themselves. Yeah, staying off Twitter helps. Talking about a specific Chikara person got canceled, get hacked, and no one believed them. Wow, that's crazy and unfortunate. Yeah, that's a tough spot. But this is one of the things I hear about like cancel cultures. Oh, what about the innocent people? They are so few and far between. Yes, it sucks for them. It really sucks for them. But how many innocent people would you be okay with being removed from wrestling if it meant that we got rid of even just one truly horrible predatory person? You know what I mean? Like, it sucks for the people who did nothing wrong, but they are also rare exceptions. They're incredibly rare exceptions. They exist, for sure, but they are, to call them even a fraction, I think is generous. They're a rounding error. Well, that's good. That's good. Also, sometimes I think being removed from wrestling ain't the worst thing in the world. Wrestling's great, and it's great. But it can be pretty freaking horrible. It's not great. Now, I've said for a really long time that I have spent the last, probably since 2013, 2014, I've spent that time developing a life outside of wrestling that ensures that if my wrestling time went away tomorrow, I got the injury that did me in, or, I was falsely accused of some horrific thing, whatever. If I had to leave wrestling tomorrow, for whatever reason, if a really important job opportunity in real life came up and I had to move somewhere where it was not feasible to do wrestling, I've taken the steps to give myself a very good life outside of wrestling. Great wife, great hobbies. I've taken careful steps to make sure that that is my reality. And there are times when I actively think, boy, if I left wrestling, that would be awesome. There are some times when I genuinely think that. I think like, man, my life would be so easy. Really, I think about like the people who they don't have an art or a passion they follow. They instead are sports fans, which is great. That's a passion for them, but it's not an active thing they have to do. They come home, they watch the game, they cook some dinner, they relax. Maybe they're the type who comes home and reads a book. That would rule. That would rule. Perry, if you were out of wrestling, I'd still be here. I appreciate it, Mike. And that's something that I really pride myself on. Is like I think a lot of people do like my wrestling, but I think most people that would describe themselves as being my fans, I don't think my wrestling is why they're my fan, Sarah. That makes sense. All right, set these brushes aside. Now we got to get the finest little brush I've got, because we are about to do the most finicky thing that I have to do when I do these paintings. And that is the whites of the eyes on a classic Perry. This is annoying and stressful and terrible, but it is important. There is, I need white paint. A few different whites, and some of them behave really well, some of them behave less well, but you just got to make do with what you can. Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Like, if, I talk about if the injury came for good, right? If that's the thing, where I'm still welcome to be around wrestling, I'm just not able to do the wrestling part, I would absolutely be making toys for wrestlers. I would absolutely be doing shirt designs for wrestlers. I would be helping to run production where I could. There's a million ways to be a useful, productive person in wrestling who is really giving to wrestling. I mean, really giving to wrestling. Honestly, I think if you work in production, whether you are a commentator like our good friend Johnny Torres, if you are a camera person like our good friend Production Paul, if you are a photographer like Encrypted Cryptid, if you are a maker and just someone who helps doing show running like Nickabeans, if you're any of those people, you are a wildly important part of professional wrestling, and like highly underrated. It's like there's a ton of people that want to be wrestlers, and there's a ton of people getting in the ring and performing. But the people who make the shows happen, that's a whole different world of making this entire industry go round. All right. Doing the whites of these eyes. Right. Nice. All right, that did what I wanted it to do. Sometimes my instinct is to go in and up a little, but try not to do too much, because you often do want to leave well enough alone with these little details. You go in and you fuss over it. Every brush stroke is a chance to mess it up. All right. And I believe that is going to be it for the painting portion of this stream. I am probably going to upload these as 2 separate videos on YouTube. So the outro here is, as usual, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging out. That is the painting of our figures. After this, they get clear coats. They get some final details done. Then they get assembled. Shouts out to the people who pre-ordered. Shouts out to Nickabeans for collaborating with me on the Luau Perry, where we made these little Hawaiian shirts and leis to go with the figures. Fantastic work, just amazing. If you get the chance to collaborate with Nickabeans on anything, please do it. You will be so glad you did. Shouts out to Joey Nails, who is not present. We will finish your guitar soon. I'm not seeing him right away, so there's not a big rush on that. Now, we are continuing on with the stream. The stream is not over. Thank you for hanging out. Let's see, I'm going to see what Johnny Torres is saying. Do what Harry Aaron did and take some time away and crush other industries and circle back around to wrestling. Yeah, there's a ton of room for all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, honestly, like the toy making would be incredible, and I don't feel limited to wrestling with it. I'd love to do some toy making, some other realms. All right, but for now, we are breaking out this, the Tamiya. This is from their Tamiya Craft Tools selection. The electric handy drill. This is a Japanese company that makes these little kits. As I mentioned earlier in the stream, We had previously, some time back, assembled this monster truck, a little four-wheel drive monster truck that I believe still has batteries in it, so I should be able to turn it on if I can remember where the on-off switch is. I have no idea where the switch is. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Let's open it up. Let's open it up and see. If I even know how to open it up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, where is the switch on this thing? I do want to get the batteries out of this. Let's see. I feel like yeah. I know that the switch on this is fairly prevalent. Once you oh, here it is. It's on the front. And let's see. Yeah, look at that. Still goes. Love that. And I know there's a way to take this body off. I just don't remember how. I believe it's with these clips here. Yeah, there we go. This clips off of here. I'm going to take the batteries out because we're going to need them for this drill. Ta-da! Who is Vanessa? Why does her lunchbox have a monster truck? It was called Vanessa's Lunchbox because it's a van. Get it? Like Van Nessa? No idea why lunchbox. That's one of those weird, you know, I think there's probably something lost in translation for that. But this is essentially the old Rolling Thunder monster truck from the 80s, one of the OGs, a truck that actually did reside in Japan until it was disassembled. And as far as who Vanessa is, I believe that's her driving the little cartoon of the truck in the picture. All right. But we need to assemble this drill. I'm really looking forward to this. Cellophane tape on the sides here. Drill set not included, so I may need to order a little drill set to go with this. All right. We'll see. Oh, it's got more tape. Boy, they really they wanted this thing to be secure. They did it, by God. Did it. That says it. No, I don't think I actually need a drill to make it. What I was saying is I believe that the drill bits, there's an additional little bit of drill bits that you can get for it that did not come with it. All right, so here's a lot of our parts that are all on sprues. Love the old sprue style of model making. Some additional sprue bits here. And then these are all our little hardwares, little motor, little grease, some gears. There is at least one drill bit that comes in there. And then this company does a great job with their instructions for that from working on the previous piece. All right, so it says, items required for assembly, a large and small screwdriver. I can get those. Long nose pliers, I have those. Side cutters, I keep present at all times. Modeling knife and double A's. All right, so we're gonna quickly wander about the old shop here and get the parts we need. We need a little modeling knife. Got it. That's one down. Feel good about that. All right, large and small screwdriver. That'll only take me a second. I do keep a fairly neat and tidy workshop here. Large screwdriver. A series of small ones. I don't know how small they need, but we'll just stick with, I think. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. I think that's two disparate sizes. That'll cover some bases. All right. Actual screwdrivers that I got while I was in Japan at our tool store there. Small screwdriver and needle nose plier. I always keep a few pairs of those. Let's see. They're over here where they actually belong. Yeah, of course they are. Ah, beautiful. I got to tell you guys, there are some tools in my collection. When there are some tools in my collection that were gifted to me by my dad when I bought the house here because I was putting together the workshop, and he just went in his garage and anything that he had a nicer, newer version of, or anything that he had, a double of, he kind of gifted me. This set of needle nose pliers, these were my dad's while I was growing up. Trying to see if there might be a year forged in them anywhere, but there doesn't appear to be. These are the needle nose pliers I used on every project I worked on as a kid growing up. They are still in my collection and still function beautifully today. Love when that stuff happens. Okay. We're going to break out these directions. This looks fairly straightforward here. So let's go ahead and clear our working field a little bit. Get everything out of the way here. Okay. So we are starting with the battery terminal, it says. Had me grab the knife. Might as well use it to open these bags. Sticker there. What that is. Little screw up gears, screw up the big parts, and what is this? Oh, it's a little sticker. It says electric handy drill. That is adorable. We're definitely putting that with. All right. And we got these little bits here. Ooh, the really little bits in here. And where they go. Wow, yeah, these are some little itty bitty bits going on here. Okay, yeah, put that nearby. Don't have to dump all those out yet. Also itty bits. At least one of these I see that I need first step. So that piece, I'm also going to need this piece. These are both in the first step there. There we go. This gray bit here is one I need. So growing up, I remember always twisting pieces off the screws, but as a grown-up, I like using a nice pair of flush cutters. You know, saves me from doing a bunch of cleanup on the screws. When I was a kid, I'd have to sand down the little nips and edges from the screws that were still stuck there. But now they come off nice and clean. All right, so like this. This goes here. Oh, lovely! Look at that. Just clicks right in. This is something I discovered building the other pieces. Every little piece just clicks where it needs to be. This goes on this other side like that. Kind of pop into place. Yeah. Boom. Okay, step one is complete. There we go. There's the little click I was looking for. Beautiful. All right. Just a little, because I'm working a little bit tighter to the body than I've been showing, so I want to make sure everything's in frame as much as possible. Okay, so that is step one. Step two is putting the primary gear onto the motor. Primary gear is the little one that's in here. The way it shows to do it is to put that there and then to press on the back here. Nice. Yeah, nice and flush. There we go. All right. And then we attach that to the assembly that we just made. Goes gear out. Part goes up and in here, and then I think the whole thing kind of clicks in place. Let's see. Yeah, very nice. Look at that. You'll love to see it. And that's got all of our contact points in touch, so that'll give power to the motor. Love that. All right, and now we are moving on to, ooh, this next step has a bunch of parts involved. All right, we're going to set this little assembly out of the way for now. Put this grease out of the way in this piece here. Now we got to cut some more sprue bits. There's 1/2 of our drill. Other 1/2 of our drill. Out of the way for now. See, goes in play up here. See that we're going to need this piece. Here we go. This is a really cool little kit. I'm going to be really excited when this works at the end of the stream. Good about that. Anything? We got piece 7. Alright, so we got this piece as well. The pieces are all numbered, and it's pretty well labeled that this is the B sprue, and then every one of these pieces has a little number next to it. So that's really nice that they've done that. See, we also need B4. B4, B6. That's it for B8 as well. Oh man.
I'm Johnny Knoxville. This is the tidal wave.
Concepts just redeemed hydrate.
I love that the robot pronounced Concept JT as Concept. Thankfully, like I said, gotta have everything ready before you start the stream. So absolutely capable of hydrating. All right. So this is a big step with a bunch of pieces. So we're really like kind of going through and making sure that I have everything I need for this, because there are a lot of bits and bobs here. Okay. It's from this. Oh my goodness. They really just stuffed all this into one step. Let's see. Not this piece yet. Not this piece yet. Set a bunch of these in the not yet pile. But we are using the spring here. That's a start. We are using this gimmick with the spring. We are using this little spring. And that would be that for that bag. And then we need the bushings out of here. So at least one little bitty bushing. Yeah, there it is. And that goes with this. Trying to make sure I only use the right pieces with them. Let's see, some of these Okay, so this one is in that upper pile. This one is in the lower pile. I like that they have the measurement of the exact screws there. Felt like a good time for the hydrate now that the field is set. Yeah, yeah. This has been a really cool little setup. I think I actually, looking at this, I need to get a slightly finer screwdriver than I grabbed, but thankfully I have a great big set of really tiny screwdrivers of kind of all variety. It is a huge plethora of tiny little electronic screwdrivers. All right, so I'll have little pictures on it. Might be too fine. Let's see. This is close. Maybe still a little too fine. Double fine if you. Ah, this is what we need. That's the one. That's the one right there. All right, gonna set that out of the way for the moment. All right, and I think we can begin this process here. So this is two halves of working on just this one piece here. So it is two diagrams in one of everything that needs to happen. I think. We'll know in a minute, I suppose. Yeah. All right. Pretty complicado, but I'm into it. I'm into it. So it's this first. We take this little guy, this shaft stopper, goes in here. On it goes this spring. Above that goes this little guy, which goes down there. Okay, good. Good about that. He's jealous that I am. Got this piece. Goes down here. Up. That gets screws slightly smaller of the screws. Presumably gets tightened up. So not sure. This piece has to go on the side. Just put a little back. This is very finicky stuff. Got a piece trying to jump from the table out of the earrings. Right, since nothing's finer than Scott Steiner. Yeah, there's little bits here that are a little complicated and a little tricky. I'm gonna do that upper piece after. This piece is the hard part first. Go like that. Boom. There. It's here. Done that. Aha! This is the better way to do that. That is hard to hold. Holy cow. This is the joy of doing this on streams. Everyone gets to watch me. But, you know, it's fun. You all get to experience it right along with me. Hope everyone's enjoying watching this struggle. Someone throw some cheers in the chat. When this gets done, I want to see emotes and stuff. It's the hardest part. Is this as excruciating to watch as it is to do? I hope so. Misery loves company. And that was absolutely bound to happen, that a piece would end up on the floor. Thankfully, it didn't. I don't think it went very far. But it is a gray piece on a gray floor. I did find it right away, though. Yeah, it's true. This and Silk Song are virtually the same experience. Alright, so this has to go here. Like that. This has to somehow be held on the other side. Oh, like that. Ha 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 ha. Aha. Now it's working. Now we're getting where we want to be. Yeah. There we go. Of course, I got one part of that backwards. Got there, but then I had to read it. That's okay. Now I figured out the trick. Because there is a trick to it. One of those tricks is to read the directions wrong. Yeah. I didn't realize that those two parts pop together like a frickin' Lego. It would be way easier if I thought for a second that that was a possibility. Took one moment of looking at the piece more carefully. Right. And there we go. Good. Yes. Excellent. All right. That is one thing done. Drop this back in. Put that spring back on it like we did before. This piece is going to pop up this here. Excellent. Excellent. Good, good, good. All right, so that is half of that diagram done. Feel good about that. Who's jealous of that? There are some bits here that it's telling me to grease, but they're actually going to not really be pieces there. This is going to go. Piece. So this piece goes first. Oh, this is the trigger. Let's see. See how this works. Um, There it is. Aha, excellent. Struggle, succeed, dopamine, repeat. Yeah, that's the build process, really. Okay. So there's a little bushing piece that's going to go on. And this is they really got it all figured out here. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. This goes in there like that. Yeah. This piece drops down on top of the whole mess like that. Little bushing. Appears to go from underneath. Can that be right? Oh, okay. Hold on to that for a sec. Wow, this piece has to go underneath like that. Oh, no, what a terrible bit of torture. That's okay. So like that. This guy does a little. Oh, that's cool. Little inlet for it there. Love that. And there's was there a washer in here? I didn't see a washer anywhere. Oh, there is. Oh my god, there's so many more little pieces. Oh my god, you guys. Little bits here. Glad I noticed that bag. Holy cow. Little washer. All screwed. Right? Now we can go back to where we were in the build. Press on here. To where it's going to go. Like that. Goes like that. Slightly bigger screwdriver. This one's a little bit too small. Let's see, this is a I hope everyone's enjoying the struggle. I can. Yeah, that's gonna be the one. Now I can come back and put it. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Our little trigger operation. Pretty good. All right. So that's all good. That is that half. Now we're building the gearbox. Uh-oh. Holy moly. This is where it gets gross. This is where we actually need to break out the thing of grease that they provided us, because this will require it for sure. This is where we get these slightly bigger bits here. Yeah, the drill bit that it came with, we don't need it. All right, we're making some real progress now. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay. So we need this sprue. We need C1. This is this very first one. Wait, I don't know if it's better to clip this. this or not. Maybe it is. Yeah, I think it's okay. Flipping off of the edge of gears is wild business, I tell you. Doesn't feel right. Feel right at all. Alright, and this will be where we have to use those needle noses to clamp on some C-clips, but let's go ahead and we need this piece. This is going to get a little grease on it. We only have a plastic bushing with this. If there's actually any grease in the tube. There we go. There's some. I really squeeze them. They wanted this to go all over the inside of this thing. They kidding me? Wow. Barely anything. Alright, so our bushing is on here. That back. And this gear goes on here. This way. That, and then we got a C-clamp. C-clamps are such a pain. Really not looking forward to doing or pain anytime, let alone on camera. But I'm here for the content, so let's suffer, I guess. Even picking it up is hard. Right, there we go. It's lined up where it needs to be. Let's see if we get it on the first try. No, of course not. This is great content. People do this. There's people who assemble electronics for a living. So I guess if someone throws some cheers in the chat, technically I'll be doing it for a living too. Something. But it's not something interesting. Just something to think. I have no idea where that went. Couldn't have fallen off the table. Oh, I see it underneath a screw. No one has any tips on how to do this. Here. Yes, maybe this is the way to do it. Well, that was not the way to do it. Squeezing it that tight, it just flew. I'm never finding that one again. Have to grab them. Yeah, I don't know, guys. really pushing up on the end of the stream here. I don't know if we're going to get it done. What's going to happen? Actually, if I have to go find that other C clamp, which I'm pretty sure I probably will. Aha! Ha 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 ha! Yes! Yes! There is no way I'm finding that other one. Two plants and C. Does another C clamp come up here, or is that the only one? If that's the only one, that's fantastic news. Oh my god, I think that other one was a spare. Yeah, I don't see another one used anywhere. Big day, you guys. Come on, let's go. Okay, so finishing this bit here. Have to this back here. Washer. And then there's some kind of spacer piece. Aha! C5. So the C is, and this is number 5. Oh. Squeeze on there. This piece is going to go in here. C4 goes on the end of that. That's this piece. Guys, this might actually work out. This might work out. Said it couldn't be done. This whole assembly down in here, like so. Yeah, look at that. That's looking good. Let's go. Alright, the next shaft assembly is to be pretty easy. Literally just this going into the other big C. Skip. You need C3. He does on that piece I just. So excited to see how the whole thing fit. I skipped over a piece. Can't do that. That would have made for a very functional drill. Alright, so we're going to pull this up, we're going to pull this out, and then this piece goes in like so, with this piece on the end. Now we're getting something. That's where we need that. And this piece is here. Like so. Yeah, look at that. Come on. That's looking really good. Feel good about that. Okay. So now we're getting to our assembly here. Now, interestingly, this does go in here. This goes bottom. Oh, like this. Not like that. That makes sense. this piece. Guys, we're almost done with this. This is great. This is all coming together. I think we're going to time out really close to the 11 o'clock mark where I like to end these streams. Feeling good about that. Got a big week ahead. We got a big stream tomorrow. Mystery stream. No clue what we're doing. That's good. But why not? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Pops in like that. Holds the whole trigger thing in place. I like that. Guys, this design is so cool. Like, come on. Get a load of all this. How often do we get to see how the insides of a basic control might work? I say might work because this isn't exactly like. Okay. Alright, so the second half now, we're about ready to go on. We need our motor build that we did at the very beginning, which goes in up here like this. Okay. Let's see it. Let's see it. There we go. Just like that. Let's see how the motor's going to work with it now. I like that a lot. Okay. Yeah, and now we go on with this piece. Line everything up carefully, make sure it's actually on right. It should kind of click on. Yeah, like that. For all good sounds. Drop in these screws, tighten these up. A regular size screwdriver this time. Day Without Darkness with the gift sub to Johnny Torres. Thank you, my friend. Thank you as all. I don't have my soundboard, but promotional consideration paid for by the following. Hope you're all enjoying the very chill, very slow-moving, relaxed stream here. Again, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, I will be live playing something. Who knows what? Be anything. All right. That's looking pretty good. All right. So this is our this is our chuck. Just goes on like so. It's going to be what tightens up around our bit, or it doesn't. Ooh, I like that. Yeah, I can feel it clicking and working. All right, we're just about ready to give this a shot. We got the last couple of pieces. There's 2 chuck pieces, really? A big and a little chuck. Wow. Okay. There's one a backup. I wonder if they're the same. I got to compare the pieces now. One a backup, or are they different? Oh yeah, look at that. They are. They're for different sizes. Really interesting that we have the 2 there. Let's get a look at what size drill bit came with it. Came with one that can be tightened on that, but won't fit into this one. So we're going to put the little one aside and save that for other projects, or if we need it in here for a particularly small bit. Something. We'll go ahead and attach our chuck. I just realized this is the lock for the chuck, so I got to hold that down so that I can tighten it. Let it go. All Look at that. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. All right. We got to clip off our battery cover. We got to put our batteries in, and we got to give this thing its first test. Let's see, this is going to go. That. Everything's going to go. That. We're going to. Put this guy in. Quite the satisfying click I wanted. Oh. Doesn't want to fit right. Let's get a look. Something's in a wonky spot. You know, I want this thing to be right. There we go. Now it clicked in. Okay. I'll loosen this up. We're gonna put in the bit that came with it. We can click them down. All right, and unlock. All right, and here goes. Moment of truth, you guys. Let's watch that drill bit. Come on. You kidding me? Come on, get a load of that. That is so sick. All right, hang on. I'm going to get a bunch of this stuff out of the way. I'm glad that they included a bunch of little bitty extras. They included some extra washers. That extra C clip was real important because I definitely sent one flying across the room with the pliers. Was never going to find that, especially not on stream. So I'm going to set these extra little bits and bobs aside. Grab these screws and what have you. Extra bit of grease here. I'm going to stuff all this, get the tools out of the way. And we got to drill something, right? Like we did all that work. We got to drill a hole into something. Came all this way. All right. Always put your tools away when you're done with a project. A project is not done until you have cleaned up the working. I genuinely mean. Just setting my screwdrivers back where they go, putting trash where the trash goes. Got to put those pliers away, and then we gotta drill something. I think we're gonna, we'll try a few different things, but I think we start on a popsicle stick. See about putting just a little hole through a popsicle stick. That seems hobby grade tool use, right? I certainly think so. Hey, it is Cal. What's up, Cal? Figured I'd see if anyone was streaming. Yeah, I just got done assembling this little Japanese kit for a little bitty hobby drill. Runs on 2 AA batteries. A stark contrast to most of my tools. I'm putting a few things away now and lecturing everyone about keeping their workspaces clean. But it's a nice thing to have because when I've done drilling on small pieces before, I've used these massive tools, which are overkill for a lot of the small work that I do. The little toy making. But this little thing that runs on 2 little AA batteries that we just built on stream comes from a Japanese toy company that I've built some of their other kits. They have some monster truck kits and those things. I actually picked up this monster truck from them in Japan. And this is the box it came in. I also have another one I need to build on stream sometime. I have a second monster truck kit. One day I'll get to that on stream, but I picked up 2 when I was in Japan because they were exceedingly affordable. Just kind of absurdly inexpensive. But yeah, I gotta see if this thing actually like work. Oh man, we got sawdust. Oh, wow. Oh, drill bit came loose. That's interesting. Noted. All right. There we go. Put that all the way back in there. Oh, it's really hobby grade, toy grade. What can I say? Pulling the bit out. Interesting. Yeah, got to figure this one out. Overkill is a monster truck that ran in the 90s. Boy, ain't that true. Out of an X67. I hope they named it after the Men at Work song. Yeah, it does in fact drill a little bitty hole. But we got to figure out how to tighten this this chuck down a little bit better because it just starts to spin the motor after a while. I believe this is supposed to lock it. Oh, and maybe it does. Okay. Okay, good. All right, let's try it again. See what we do here. Okay. I mean, it definitely drilled a hole that you can see through. Guys, that actually made pretty quick work of that. And that's on wood. This is primarily intended. Hey, there's the other C-clamp I thought I lost. Huh. Guys, good day. We built a drill and got a bag of spare parts. But yeah, now I want to try putting holes in plastic. Here we go. I have a prototype that I made, 3D printed prototype of a slightly larger version of my monster truck toys. Let's just try one of them in a discrete spot no one will notice. Let's go right into the chassis here. Man, that chuck loves to come undone, huh? Yeah. So because I primarily work on plastic and stuff, yeah, how well does it work on skin? I don't need to find out. These ones will do skin, so it's already taken care of. Yeah, deathmatch weapon for a little bitty deathmatch. Yeah, I'm exceeding. I can't believe that worked so kind of smoothly. You know, I thought I'd run into some kind of difficulty with it. I don't know where this sticker is supposed to go on here, but I kind of want to put it on here somewhere. Bottom. Oh, I'll worry about the sticker some other time. But that is, we are wrapping up here. That was about it for tonight's stream. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I am going to check and see if someone is streaming. We will go raid them because there's all kinds of good homies that raid or that stream on a Wednesday night. Wow, it looks like our options are either going to be we can raid the sumo tournament with Midnight Sumo, or we can go pop over to Frank Howley's channel. Let's see what Frank's up to. If he's watching some Joshi or something. But yeah, of course he is. So he's watching Stardom. Yeah, we're gonna go raid Frank Howley. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. We will be back up in the studio doing some gaming. Not sure what we're going to play just yet, but lots of options. I might post something in the Discord, maybe a poll on what we play. I might just pick something myself. Thank you all so much for hanging out on Workshop Wednesday. And yeah, I will see you all tomorrow. Take it easy, my friend.